Today I'm going to be talking about Hurricane Milton. So today, as you can see here, there is Florida right there with hurricane watches, warnings, and tropical storm warnings and watches. And there's Hurricane Milton right there, and it's going to be heading right towards Florida. There will be a lot of storm surge with this, lots of winds, lots of rain, and lots of yeah, pretty much just lots of dangerous things that you'd pretty much expect out of a hurricane. And as of right now, this thing is a 180-mile-an-hour storm. So this is pretty much a pretty big hurricane. And as you can see here, off of this list, Milton is a top 9 hurricane of the strongest hurricanes list in the Atlantic, which is absolutely crazy. So that is pretty insane. And then we're also going to be talking about the graphs. Well, we're also going to be talking about the model runs, as you can see here, as well as the spaghetti models. As you can see right here, it's all spaghetti models all across the western coast of Florida. And that's where this thing will be landfalling, is the western coast of Florida. And here is a storm right now on live imagery. And it is currently over at the top of the Yucatan of Mexico, and it's producing a lot of wind. Like I said, 180-mile-per-hour storm, Category 5. This is one of the most dangerous hurricanes. This is a top 9 hurricane in the Atlantic, and probably one of the top 20 since recorded history. So it's a pretty insane storm. I will be answering questions or concerns that you got with this storm, and let's head on in. Let me just set my camera up right here. Alright. Oh, I can zoom in. Okay, that's cool. Never used this type of live stream, so it's pretty much beginning here. So yeah, that's pretty much Hurricane Milton right there. Let me zoom out just a tad so there's a bigger view. Alright, there we go. So, like I said, here is Hurricane Milton, and it's currently at 180-mile-per-hour storm. The cone is projected at Tampa as of right now at a 125-mile-an-hour storm. But since it'll be a Category 3 at this point, the reason why is because of wind shear hanging out up here across northern Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and it'll probably pretty much just start ripping apart the storm, which is pretty much gonna like do some pretty big impacts to the storm, which weakens it, which is really good. You want the storm to weaken because we do not want anything bad happening. Because if you knew about 2 weeks ago, or less than 2 weeks ago, we had Hurricane Helene, and we're already dealing with that. So another one is kind of crazy, especially like back to back like that. That's even more crazier. So that's currently as of right now across Tampa, and it's looking pretty interesting. And the cone is pretty much expanded all the way up here near Cedar Key, and all the way down here towards Cape Coral and Fort Myers and Sanibel Island area. So it's a pretty interesting storm. It's supposed to go across the eastern Florida, like over here towards like Cape Canaveral. It's supposed to impact Orlando as well, Lakeland area, pretty much around this area. So it's a pretty interesting storm. And we're just going to look at this little track right now. As you can see, this is the eye of the hurricane. If I push this back just a tad, it's pretty much made a slight turn to the south. So it could possibly make a southern track. But again, if I look back here, it actually made a pretty further north track. So there's a lot of possibilities out of this thing. And it just keeps on weeble wobbling. And if you knew, the models, the spaghetti models, were shifting it back and forth, in between the northern, around Tampa, and then in between, like, Cape Coral area, Naples area, like something like that. Around this area, and then over here near Tampa. It's pretty much like showing all that from here to Tampa, all the way down to Cape Coral area. It's like 50-50, it's split. And it's still kind of like that as of right now, but things have been getting more confined. And right now, I'm going to show the spaghetti models. Here we go. As you can see, the southernmost spaghetti model is over near Punta Gorda. And the most northernmost storm or spaghetti model is Clearwater. So it's pretty confined area. We pretty much know where this thing is gonna go. So it's definitely something interesting. And a few outliers that shows it hitting Mississippi, Louisiana. There's other outlier that shows it hitting near Key West. I don't see that happening. Landfalling like straight into Mexico. I do not see that happening whatsoever. I do not see that. So yeah, this is gonna be a big hurricane. It's gonna be a second one. And as you can see here, here's Hurricane Milton, that little wind field. Because the thing is, right now, this wind field is so compact. Because you have those 185 mile an hour winds, and they're just like confining. They're really getting strong. And also, yeah, just really getting compact. Since it's so strong with the 180 mile an hour storm, it's not good. Let's hope it weakens by the time it reaches Florida. But we just really have no idea. So gotta wait and see what happens. And as it approaches Florida, it will be a Category 3 at 125. My thinking is, since this storm is so strong at 180 mile per hour winds, I can see this being like a low-end Category 4 at landfall. Just keep in mind. I mean, I actually think that, but I mean, who knows? I mean, this storm at this rate could do anything. And also, if you want to ask me a question about this storm, just comment down below or in the chat, and I will answer it as best as I could. As the storm is pretty much approaching Florida. And then right now, we're just going to dip into the hurricane models, or just the models themselves. The GFS actually has a landfall right towards the south, near Tampa Bay. It actually is much further south of what's been showing. I mean, it's been showing near something Springs. I forgot what the city is. Let's see. Near Spring Hill, yeah. Right around Spring Hill, like more northern than that, like maybe Cedar Key. But now, the storm, the GFS has actually shifted it down south. So it looks like this will be a further southern storm from Tampa, I believe. I think it'll be landfall around my range, my thinking, around either Venice, Florida, or Sarasota, Florida. Right around that area, right towards the south of Pinellas County. Pretty much in that general area, I believe. So this is GFS, latest one, as you can see here. I am going to go to the European model, because why not? This is the latest European model, 12Z. And as you can see here, it pretty much shows the same thing, like Tampa Bay area. So it's definitely an interesting storm right there. Also, if you want to comment down below, and if you're wondering about this storm, I'll answer your question as best as I can. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, as you can see here, around Tampa, once more with the European model, GFS. This model, this one has not been updating, so we're not going to use it. The Canadian model has been shown a little different. So as you can see here, this is the latest model. And as you can see here, it actually shows it hitting right to around Punta Gorda area, which I find pretty interesting. Around the Punta Gorda, Venice area, so it's further south, further southern track. At least that's what this is showing, a further southern track. That's what the Canadian model is showing. The Icon model, this is actually the most recent one. See, I'm gonna put it on 18Z. And as you can see here, I almost think like all these models are so outdated because look at the millibar count. It's at 974. The Storm's at 897. Like, how come the models have not picked this up? Like, it's crazy. Anyways, the Storm right here, the icon actually shows it hitting right around Sarasota, around the Sarasota, Bradenton area in Florida. So that's also another interesting area. So yeah, pretty interesting, won't lie. Over here to the UK Met, as you can see here, doesn't show a good aerial view, but I'm gonna do something like this. Yeah, like that. Shift it to the east a little bit. If you can see it, it actually shows it hitting right around the Sarasota area as well. So, yeah. Also, make sure you're preparing for this storm. Like, make sure you have water, batteries, cash. Cash is a big thing, because, like, what if the ATMs are down and you can't use a card? Like, you'd have to use cash. So make sure you have cash on you. If the storm's, like, really bad, make sure you have, like, personal documents, stuff like that. That way, like, if the storm is super bad, like, you would have to evacuate. If you're along the Florida West Coast, and if they are urging you to evacuate, please evacuate, because this thing is massive, and it's a big event as well. So, just keep that in mind. And then I'm going to look at the NAM right here, the North American model. That's what the NAM stands for. And looks like it's the same thing. Okay. So I'm going to scroll down here. This thing actually has it pretty realistic. Let me see. I don't know if y'all can see that. There you go. I'm going to zoom this in right. It actually shows a storm hitting right around Sarasota area. So that's also another area. Another big area that most models have been picking up lately. The wrap. The wrap model. This one is kind of useful. Tropical. Gulf of Mexico. Never gonna use that. This one doesn't go very far out whatsoever, so we have no idea yet. And then here's another Canadian model that I've been using as well. Let's see, Mexico, yeah. So, whoops, do not need sonograms. As you can see here, this storm actually shows it right towards Sarasota once more. So, this thing is looking very interesting. I'm also in the path of this storm, so I will be actually showing a footage of this thing, of like all the trees moving, like the wind, how high the winds actually got. It's gonna be a pretty interesting time, I will not lie. Yep. I'll say for those, that's all that shows. We're gonna look at the HRRR. It only shows the Gulf of Mexico as well. HRRR actually shows it going a little bit further south, and it shows it hitting right around Venice area. Also, if you want to comment any questions down below in the live chat, please do so you know like if this thing will actually hit your area or not. And if you have any questions regarding this thing, just comment down below. Yep, there it is. There's the storm right there, right near Venice. Right around that area. It's HRRR and NAM. Also, the thing is, another big thing that I forgot to mention, make sure you have a radio on you, so like you know if like a hurricane warning is gonna come through or a tornado warning, because the thing is, these systems bring in so many like tornado warnings and whatnot. It's like a big deal. So like make sure you pack that, like make sure you have a radio just in case like your cell phone doesn't work, no internet, stuff like that. And yeah, so. And then here's a NAM model. as you can see here, look how explosive this thing is upon landfall. Even though, yes, it shows a weakening, but jeez. Oh, you can't even see it. Whoops. Yeah, the storm right there. I'm just gonna zoom out. I'm gonna do this differently. I'm gonna spin the camera around. There we go. That's better. Because most of them are showing this, So yeah, this looks like it'll hit Tampa area as well. Pretty much. I'm gonna try out this model. This shows absolutely nothing. No. 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 I don't think this is right. And yeah, those. Ooh, let's look at the ensembles. Yeah, the wind. Alright, so this is what the ensembles are popping up as. This ensemble actually has it hitting Cape Coral area. Yeah, right around Cape Coral area. Landfalling is like a weaker storm, but I'm sure it'd be a lot stronger than that. Plus, the thing is, I believe this compacts all models together and turns it into this. Plus, ensembles are pretty good, I heard, to use for hurricanes, which is really good. Here's the EPS. This thing shows it hitting right around Sarasota area. Also, if you want to ask me a question about like where this storm will be hitting in your area or something, please comment down below. I'm very happy to help you and see like where this thing will actually form. So just let me know. And then here's this other one, this other ensemble. This is near the GEFS. This is right around Tampa. Like right around Tampa, Sarasota area, like right smack dab in the middle. Around those areas, around the Bradenton area. So it's also another thing to look at right there. Also shows this thing having a pretty big wind field as well. That Icon ensemble has it heading towards Tampa. Which is also another interesting thing. SREF. Whatever this model stands for. Actually shows the thing weakening like all the way. I don't see that. It actually shows it hitting right around Naples. Around Naples, Bonita Springs area, Cape Coral. Around that area, pretty much. Yep. And then that's pretty much all there is right now. I'll pretty much just go back over them in a little while. I do want to look at this cone right here. Oops. That looks about right. Yeah, that's what we do. So here's a storm what it's supposed to do. There is Florida, as you can see here. Here's the hurricane warnings extending all the way up here towards the northern end of the cone near Cedar Key, all the way back down here in Fort Myers area. And then the hurricane warning extends as far east as near Cape Canaveral. This is crazy. And also, I think Orlando is also under this thing. So, if you're in any of these areas in the hurricane warning or even a tropical storm warning, just be aware of what this storm could actually do. And, not to mention, this storm could like wobble back and forth on like what area it can hit. So that's another thing that we also gotta watch with this track of this storm. That's why there's many like hurricane watches all across Southwest Florida still. And then hurricane watches all the way up here as well near Jacksonville area, all the way down near West Palm Beach area, I believe. And it's supposed to sustain like a category 4 storm over here as as 85-mile-an-hour storm as a category 1. And that's like all the way out here in the middle of the ocean. And then the path, like as of right now, of what the National Hurricane Center has been saying over here, right near the Tampa Bay area, and then Tampa as well being in here. And then north of Lakeland will be spotted right on it. And then over here, Orlando area, we'll have the path, even as well as Claremont area, near Deltorna, Tootsville, Titusville. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. And just towards the south of Daytona Beach and the north of Cape Canaveral. So this storm is looking pretty interesting. And also, if you want to ask me questions of where the storm will hit, please let me know. And I'll let you know where this thing will hit in your area. And also, not to mention, let's go over a few safety precautions as well. So, just to make sure you have a way to evacuate, know your evacuation zones, because this storm is gonna be pretty hefty. If you need to evacuate, like use like major highway areas, like get as far north or south as you possibly can. Like if you are in those areas, or even if you're just worried about flooding, like all you gotta do is just go 15 miles away from the coast, and you'll be totally fine. Just you'll have to deal with the high winds, and that's pretty much it. If you don't want to worry about that, just go all the way up north, past the cone. You can still experience a few areas inside the cone, but at least you'll be like safe and sound away from the storm. Also, a few things to pack. Make sure you have gas. So if you go like super far away and with the car, and you can just fill up your gas tank. And then if you as well, I'm trying to think here. Gas. I'll say water. Water is a big thing. Like, make sure you have 1 gallon per day with the storm. So, make sure you have that as well. Make sure you pack lots of water. Special documents or special things that you need. Make sure you pack those as well. And also a radio. Radio is a big thing, so like in case you have no internet, you can just use the radio off of the radio signals, and you can pretty much get radio from what the National Hurricane Center or your nearby National Weather Service is posting as well. So make sure you have a radio as well as a lot of water. I would say 1 gallon per person is pretty much recommended per day. And just let me know what else I'm missing. I'd say batteries, so if you have to like power things up, just do that as well. Pretty much safety precautions like that. And then if you live along the coast, like if there's supposed to be a lot of storm surge, use sandbags. Like if you are absolutely gonna stay, protect your house as much as you possibly can with sandbags, so it like keeps the water away. So that's pretty much those are pretty much the main safety precautions are. All right, now back to the actual storm, Hurricane Milton. As you can see here, I don't know if I already gone over this already, but it's a 180 mile an hour storm with 997 millibar storm. That is crazy. And it's supposed to go as high as 185 and then slowly weaken due to wind shear. And then by the time it reaches nearby landfall, it's supposed to be a Category 3 storm. Like all the way up here near Tampa area, it's supposed to be a Category 3. But I honestly think it could be a low-end Category 4 because of how strong this storm is. Like, this storm is actually scary right now. Like, it's a big, fat, 180 mile per hour storm. It's not looking good. Yeah, not looking good. And as this thing progresses up to the north, make sure to stay up to date with your National Weather Service. Maybe even myself, because I'm talking about the storm right now and latest path. This is a pretty big situation for the state of Florida as of right now. Even though most of y'all could recall way back when we had Hurricane Helene. This is a big old storm. This thing was a pretty quick mover, but as it went across the states and went over here in North Carolina and Tennessee, it produced a lot of flooding concerns, and just a lot of craziness. You know, it was not as strong. It was 140 around landfall, and I honestly think to present day, Milton could do the same thing. But it won't go up here, it'll just go up to the west. Or, no, to the east, It'll go up to the east and go out into sea. But then it also creates a problem in Bermuda as well, as only a 45-mile-an-hour storm, so it won't be too bad for that area. But as of right now, if you live in Mexico, make sure you are staying prepared and like staying hunkered down and just staying inside your house, because you're probably most likely experiencing like 80, 90, maybe 100-mile-an-hour storms like inland, and then coastline you're probably dealing with 100, maybe 110-mile-an-hour winds. Honestly, there's also wind on here. Let me look. Let's see, wind. Oh, I'm blind. Whoops. Didn't see that there. Like, these have been underrating the wind so much. Like, GFS here is only predicting as, like, a 970 something, instead of, like, an 897. Like, these winds are so high right now across Mexico. Like, these numbers do not even come close. Like, whatsoever. So we're just not gonna go off of that. Just go off of satellite, because there's a lot of crap hanging out right here. And as far as precipitation goes, there's a lot of rain right around the core, and then a few light rain areas across this area. But this is the GFS, so it pretty much has it pretty compact and kind of inaccurate. So yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. And it shows it as a big storm. Also, if you want to ask me a question of like if this thing will hit your area, please let me know, and I will help you out as best as I possibly can. Alright. Whoops. Let me fix something here. Okay, we're good now. Let me adjust my camera back down. Alright. There we go. Something like that. Alright. Back into it. I'm gonna re-go over the models here in 1 second. I'm just gonna put it back on the satellite. As you can see, it's a massive storm. Like, this is one of the biggest storms. I'm gonna pull up the list of the biggest hurricanes ever. And Milton is top 9 right now. It has a 180-mile-per-hour storm. It's already on the list. And it's not even, like, done yet. So. And then over here for pressure, it shows it. It doesn't even show it right now, but it's going to be, like, top 5 for the lowest pressure in the Atlantic of all time. So, it's pretty interesting. We're going to go back over the model runs. Yes, the model runs. If the European model can ever load. Alright, so this is the latest European model. I'm going to show over here towards this tip of Florida. Just Florida itself. So, here we go. As you can see here, the storm like develops over well, it's already formed, but it's right over the Yucatan right now. I'm not going to show that. I'm only going to show Florida area, because that's where the main concern will be. You know, Mexico is also a main concern, but here in Florida, it's a bigger concern because there's higher population and it's more impactful, as well as probably Yucatan as well. As you can see here, the European model actually shows it hitting Tampa Bay area, like spot on. So that's a pretty interesting storm. And obviously, right now across Mexico, across the Yucatan of Mexico is being hammered by the storm right now. And then we'll progress up to the north and hit Florida, right around Tampa Bay. And then, as you can see here, that was the European model. I'm going to go on to the GFS. GFS, for the first time ever, well, not first time ever, but like the first time in a while, it actually shows it going back down to the south. This is 12Z. We want 18Z. This is the latest. And yeah, like it shows it heading straight towards Tampa Bay. And it has not been this far south in a long time. So you can tell this is going to be a southern storm. A more southern storm of what it's been showing. But again, since the very beginning, it's been showing like Tampa area regardless. But it's been flip-flopping back and forth between Southwest Florida, Central Florida. It's been back and forth. West Central Florida. I mean, if you live along the coast, the whole western coast of Florida, I would be watching this storm right now. Even so, we're like only 36 hours away from landfall. I'd still be watching this storm because it's gonna be a pretty impactful storm whatsoever. And then this model kind of sucks. I'm not gonna use it, and it doesn't even have an updated label on it. This is the latest Canadian model. As you can see here, actually it shows it near Venice, right around Venice, Florida, right around that area. So definitely an interesting area of where it'd probably landfall. UK Met, it's gonna zoom out. Actually, it's not. It's gonna only show this, just right there, and it actually shows it as the latest model. It shows it hitting right around Sarasota area, around Tampa Bay area, as like most of them have been. Let's say the icon. I already pulled up an icon, right? No, I didn't. The latest icon, it's 12, this is 18Z. The latest icon shows it hitting right around Sarasota area. Yep, and then now we're going to be using the regionals, so I'm going to be using the name right here. And as you can see here, it actually shows it going up, and then it dips down by a tad, hits Sarasota, and then goes off to the east and progresses around the Daytona Beach area. And around Kennedy Space Center. The wrap, does not go that far yet, so we have no idea. The Canadian model, let's see. It shows it hitting right around Venice area. No, it's not. It shows Sarasota. It's been flip-flopping around there, so I've been showing that. See, I'm gonna look at the HRRR, and as of right now, the HRRR shows it hitting right near Venice, Florida, right around that area. The NAM 3K contiguous, it's currently loading, but right here, it shows it being a powerful storm heading straight towards Tampa Bay. Oh, and also, by the way, this will be the strongest storm if it hits Tampa in 100 years, because the last hurricane that hit Tampa was back in 1921 as a really major hurricane. So it's been a long time since that. Now we're gonna look at ensembles. So this is like all on average. Pretty much just not wins, but like just all model runs of what's been showing. Let's see, wind. Ooh. And as this thing progresses, it shows it right around Cape Coral area for the CMCE for the ensemble. The EPS, it shows a storm near Sarasota. EPS open data. This shows a same area, Sarasota. The GEFS on this area is showing there, and yeah. Anyways, I think we're gonna call it right now because my battery's about to die on my phone. So, anyways, everyone, stay safe out there, and I'll probably go live once my phone charges back up. Anyways, have a great rest of your night, everyone, and maybe I'll see you in a little bit.